Wow, I'm looking fabulous with this fan. Hi traveler, welcome back to your activity specialist. I hope you're doing well. I'm very sorry if you hear my fan and for this lighting that is probably not the best, but I mean, we gotta work with what we have, and it's very hot today in here, so I really needed this extra wind so I could sit comfortably and just talk about this topic of today. So on today's video, we're going to be covering my favorite destination and my favorite activity of all times. It's the San Blas Islands in Panama. And yeah, so I'm going to be covering my personal experience as well as all the tips and tricks that you need to know before you get there, just because it's a very particular destination, remote place, meaning you don't have those big resorts and all these how can I tell you, like the luxurious type of vacation. You're not gonna have that in San Blas. So I'm gonna give you all the tips and tricks so you get prepared and you know what you're getting into before you get there. So let's get started. So I was able to turn off my fan. The sun left and it's not as warm anymore, so I can stand this warmth for now. Please do not mind if you hear the traffic noise or the birds or the dogs barking outside. I hope it's not going to be perceived as much in my video as like the fan. So yeah, I would like to start with my experience in San Blas. My first time in San Blas was in 2016, and the second time was in 2018. To this day, I consider San Blas my top destination in anywhere I've been to. Reason why is simply the natural beauty of that place. It's absolutely magical. Like the tones of blues and the white sand beach and like the islands itself, it's out of a movie. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I always dreamed of visiting a place that had like turquoise water with like white sand beach, and it was my first destination that I had these Caribbean type of vibes, and since then it's just remained on top of my list. So how it goes when you do the one-day tour to San Blas. First of all, one of the first things that you need to know is that San Blas Island is ruled by the Gunayalas. They are the indigenous of Panama, and they own the whole archipelago. Archipelago is like many islands grouped together, and they form a piece of land basically. So basically the Gunayalas are the ones ruling the San Blas archipelago, and they also rule what it's called the comarca. The comarca is a piece of land that only themselves have the right to enter, and tourists need to present their passport every single time they want to go through the comarca. So one of the first things that you need to know is that no big travel agency or travel company is gonna run this tour. You're gonna be picked up by a Gunayala. You're gonna give your tour is gonna be given by a Gunayala. Like all the logistic of the tour is done by them, and they have like travel agencies like us that we're not Gunayalas, but we can like that can sell their tour, but we're not like allowed to run the tour itself. It's a very remote place. It takes 5 hours for you to get to the island. It's approximately 4 hours of a ride. And let me tell you, it's a ride. So you are cramped into a Jeep to the full capacity of the Jeep. So you can fit 1 to 5 people in the back and a 6th person in the front, and they're gonna pack that Jeep. So me, as being always the smaller one, I was always in the middle and the back, and it was such a ride. Like, there's a lot of curves, you're going up and down the mountains. So if you are like me that has motion sickness, I would recommend to get a German before you get into that car. You're gonna be making a stop to a supermarket before you exit the city, because if you want to do this tour, you have to do it from Panama City. There's also boats, I know, that come from Costa Rica all the way to San Blas, but I'm not very aware of how it works. The only way that I know is by taking a car from Panama City. So you take the car, they pick you up, and then you go all the way to the comarca. The comarca is like I said before, is like the territory that you have to enter so that you get to the dock. Once you get to the dock, you go into a boat, depending on the tour that you took, because you can do 1-day tours, you can do 2 nights, you can do 3 nights, 1 night. It just depends on the package that you decide to take. And also, you get, if you do like overnights, you get to choose in between some islands. And basically, depending on your package, they're gonna be sending you to a boat. All these boats go to a different island, and all the islands are ruled by them, and all the islands have different families. So most likely you're gonna be riding with the how can you say, like the owner, or like the big boss of the family, and he's gonna take you to their island. And once you get to the island, I'm talking for the 1-day tour. This is the tour that we sell at the Real Deal Tours. We also are working on overnights, but I haven't done one myself, so I don't want to speak as per experience because I haven't done it. So right now I'm more talking about the 1-day tour. So when you get to the island, they're gonna ask you if you want to do an activity, and the activity that they do is that they take you to do like a beach hopping in between like the different islands that they have, and depending on the conditions, they're gonna be choosing themselves what islands they're gonna take you to. And then once you do the beach hopping, it takes about like probably 2 hours, even 3, because you get to do some snorkeling. I will recommend for you to bring your own snorkeling gear, just because they're not very well equipped. Sometimes they don't even have like visors or like tubes. So if you really want to snorkel, I would recommend for you to bring your own equipment. And if you don't really want to snorkel, then it's not like something that you need to bring with you. And then after you do the beach hopping, you're gonna go to a natural pool. That's how we call them. It's like a pool in the middle of the ocean. Like, out of nowhere, the ocean's gonna have like a big dune of sand, and it's like super, like the depth of the water is so small that it feels like a natural, like it's a pool. And it's beautiful. So there's many of those natural pools around the islands, and they're gonna take you to any of them, and there's a lot of like starfish, and it's a cool activity. And then from the natural pool, you're going back to the main island that you went the first place. So on the one-day tour, you go to the Diablo Island. It's ruled by Archimedes family. Right now, unfortunately, Archimedes passed away in 2017, so now it's his wife Yanis that is involved in all the tourist attractions, and she's the one in charge of the island now. I'm very happy because I got to meet the original, like the Archimedes in 2016, and unfortunately in 2017 he passed. And in 2018 when I went back to Diablo's Island, I was with Yanis, and I saw how she was like improving her island and how she had incorporate more attraction for her people, and it was absolutely beautiful how she's been growing. So you're gonna get to the island, and it's gonna be roughly around, I would say, 1 o'clock, and it's gonna be dinner time. Dinner time is delicious. They're gonna have a whole fish with coconut rice and a salad and some petacones. Petacones are not always served, but most of the time they're gonna try to have the petacones. Petacones are like deep fried plantains, and it's very typical of the Panamanian food, and it's very fresh. It's delicious. I'm gonna insert a picture of my plate here. Yeah, it's absolutely good. And after your lunch, you're gonna have some time to go around the island itself. The island is pretty big. I mean, you can go around it and just go see what's around. And also there's another island just in front of it. I do not remember the name of it, but I do know that it's a little bit more, you're gonna hear some more music, and you're gonna have a little bit more like a vibrant type of it's a more vibrant place than Diablo's Island, just because on that other island you're gonna have people that are doing overnights. And when you are doing overnights, most of the time you have a lot of like young people, and they have their music, and it's very fun. You get to do new friends, and there's actually a shipwreck on that side of the island that you can go and explore. It's very cool. And after that, they're gonna take you back to the main dock around 3 o'clock. And so you're gonna be back at your hotel probably around 6, 7 o'clock. And yeah, even sometimes it could be 8 depending on traffic. So that's how your day goes for the San Blas Island one-day tour. And I would like to talk a little bit more about what I recommend for you to take along with you. So as I said, it's a very remote place. Even if you decide to do like overnights, you will not have like accessible water that you can drink. So there are a set of islands, there's no tap water. So I would recommend to bring a lot of water. If you're a water drinker like me, talking about water, I'm a little bit thirsty, so let me just take a sip. And I will highly recommend for you to bring some snacks, some water, and all the equipment that you need to do your snorkeling tour, if you want to do some snorkeling. Lots of sunblock and a hat, and yeah, that's about it. But I will recommend snacks, just because the 2 times I went, I'm a person that eats quite a lot, and I'm very active. So you do spend a lot of energy on the island. So I will highly recommend that you bring some extra snacks than just wait for the lunch itself, because you will probably get hungry on your way back. And like I said, water is an essential. So I just wanted to add something else to the things that I actually recommend for you to bring. It's your passport and some cash money. All the cash money I recommend, just because you have to pay for the tax for when you get to the comarca. It's $22 for anyone that is not Panamanian, and if you are from Panama, it's only $5. So you have to pay for that, and also you will have to pay directly to your driver, like of everything for the tour itself, if you haven't paid to the provider that you book with. But the passport is a must. I can't not stop telling people that, just because I really had a bad experience on my first trip to San Blas. I had forgotten my passport in my Airbnb, and I was almost stuck at the borderline of the comarca alone with a bunch of military guys, and it was something, I must say. It was really stupid from me, because I mean, I work for a travel agency, I sell this tour, and I mean, how could I even forget my passport, right? But I still remember that I was really, well, I was on a business trip, so I was like, I was not there in the morning of, and I did not prepare my stuff the night before because I came late, and it was just chaos for me. But turns out I left my passport behind, and I was almost not allowed to go into the islands, and I would have to spend time at the border waiting for the driver to go back and take me back to Panama City. What we did is we had to call the person at the Airbnb. I had to call my friend that was traveling with me. Well, yeah, my friend. And I was able to get a picture of it, and that was enough for me to pass the comarca. But please do not forget your passport, because it can ruin your whole day, and it can ruin the people's day that is in the driver, like they have things to do. So it's always good to have your passport with you in all times in Panama, just because it's something that we recommend a lot, because in Panama City they have a lot of immigrant people that are illegal, and sometimes if the police arrest you for whatever reason and you have no papers, they can take you to jail. So I mean, if you can't prove that you are a tourist, then they will let you go. But just in case you get arrested for whatever reason, like, you will have a backup on yourself. Like, you will have your passport, at least carry like a copy of it on your phone, like you can scan it. But it's a must if you are going to San Blas. So that was it for today's video. I hope you liked it. I hope you had some insightful information, and that these tricks and tips will help you for your next trip to San Blas. Yeah, so please make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. Also, do not forget to subscribe, and I will link all our social medias down below, as well as our one-day tour to San Blas. And do not forget, your adventure is just a click away with the Real Deal Tours. Bye!